Welcome to a brand new episode of Lunch with Doug Plus, a unique and fun experience brought to you by the Music Exerbia Project. We are here today thanks to the generous support of our esteemed sponsors. John's Barbershop, located at 121 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Open Tuesday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Walk-ins only, no appointment needed. The American Legion Post number 2, located at 402 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri, newly remodeled with a clean, fresh look. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today, as promised, I've got James Ferguson on the I'd say on the phone, but on the FaceTime now or whatever you want to call it. How are you today, James?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing really good. I'm excited to have you on today because even though a guy like me who's been in the industry for 30 years doing music and stuff, I still don't understand everything, the ins and outs of being an agent, a music agent. And even before we talk about you being a music agent, a booking agent, like how did you get into that? I'm sure you kind of play music or you had an interest in music, and how did you get to where you are today?
I have to start things off. I have zero music ability at all. I do not sing. I do not play an instrument. I've never really tried to write a song, so I'm going to assume that I can't do that either. I got roped into this probably back in 2012, 13, something like that. My daughter, who's our local musician, Ashlyn Gray, she came in the living room one day. She started singing, and my dad was like, hey, I think she's pretty good. You might want to go, get her a lesson or two or something. And so got her some vocal lessons, got her guitar. A couple years into that, she's like, I want to start, she's someone that said, hey, we went and sang some karaoke. And one of the bartenders was like, hey, she should come play out here at Redding's Mill on Sunday and we'll pay her like $150 or something. And I'm like, you get paid for this? And so she goes out there and she played. She's grabbed a couple of her other friends because she couldn't play for 3 hours. She didn't have that much material. She was probably 13 or maybe 14 years old. So I just started booking her shows through, a year or two in. And then she was going to Nashville and doing some, writing and recording over there. And we just started meeting more people. And I'm like, yeah, she's playing, 70 shows this year. And they're like, well, how'd you do that? And I'm like, well, I just started cold calling bars and clubs and coffee shops and, you know, farmers markets. And anytime I saw someone playing, so I'd call. And so then I just kind of through that, I gathered up another client, and then I got to about six at one time, and we were booking shows mostly here, and then we got up into the upper Midwest and Oklahoma and Arkansas, and now we're booking nationwide. We don't carry quite as many artists anymore because that can get a little hectic at times. But so that's kind of how I got into it, um, without any ability at all, just through salesmanship and some little elbow grease and helping my kid started out, and this ended up kind of snowballing into more.
That's very cool. And that's how a lot of people get into different fields. It's almost like it's like out of necessity, kind of, or accident at first, and then it goes from there. Yeah. So you have some, like you said, you have some national touring acts now that you're booking, and they're full time musicians playing all over the nation. Just tell us about some of your roster of artists.
So our roster, obviously we have my daughter Ashlyn, that she's a local musician. She has no interest in doing anything uh, nationwide. She's wants to play locally, and that's it. But national wise, we work with Casey Johns. She tours everywhere from. I mean, this year she's been from Key West, Pennsylvania, Seattle, Washington. I mean, she's been to the UK, playing anything from the local fair, festival, rodeo, all the way up to. I mean, we've played Texas Motor Speedway. We've the Highway 30 out west. We've played Mile Zero at Key West. I mean, and this year we're hoping to do some more towards the end of the year. Actually tonight, or well, I don't know when this airs, but Thursday night, July 10th, Anna LaPrade is a Nashville-based artist that tours all over. She's going to be at Kicks Bar and Grill in Galena, Kansas, with another great artist, Summer Dean. She's not one of mine, but I promote some local shows here in Galena for free about once a month we do, and she's the one coming in this month. So then we work some with Dallas Stump, who's from Golden City, Missouri. He tours, he plays locally, then in the upper Midwest a little bit, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. We work with Kristen Kelly some. We work with an artist out of Oklahoma named Ty Smith, who's a young kid that's he's 17 years. We tell him he's 17 years old and working on his third divorce already because that's just how he writes and sings. And he is. If you get a chance to check him out, he's Ty Smith in the Minor Offenses. He's awesome. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Well, I haven't seen any of your artists that you handle that are not awesome. So everyone I've seen is great.
yeah, we try to be. I think a lot of agencies will take just anybody, um, and we just don't do that. Like we don't. We're pretty selective in who we work with, and we don't have any real rules or regulations that we set. But we like them to be full time musicians without another job. You know, if it's
Mhm.
we like them to be the full time, and then we also like them to be talented too, because some agencies will send you some not so talented artists to your venue.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's really for you, I think, and you're dealing with the venues again and again and again. You have to really have a good working relationship with them and some honesty, like, hey, this is what I think is going to work for your venue, or this is what I don't think will, so they trust you a lot probably. And then they wouldn't keep working with you if it wasn't working.
Yeah, no, we've been pretty fortunate, and you know, it's that was really how it started. Was I was booking my daughter, and then I don't want to tell too much of her story, but she got sick and had some gallbladder stuff going on, and Dallas, he's a great artist. He's also a DJ at 96.9 now on the Cow, but he helped me fill in a little bit. Like she'd get sick, he would be there last minute to, and I'm like, hey, Dallas, I think I can, I have some good relationships. I think I can help you. And they knew my daughter, and I just picked it up, and I was like, hey, they're like, oh yeah, if he's as good as her, yeah, we'll take. And then so it was just then they took my word for it. I didn't have to
Mhm.
really do so much sailing because they just knew.
Yeah. Yeah, they see it works. They see what kind of. At first, everybody's really, I think, really. I don't know if the word's apprehensive, but they're like, I don't know. And if they've had any bad experience at all, and maybe they have worked with somebody who was a so-called booking agent that wasn't maybe really, really to the same kind of thing. Somebody that
Right.
just,
Yeah. Yeah.
one person handled them, and they didn't really do that. They just handled one artist or something, and maybe they were getting into it and didn't know what was up.
Yeah. No,
So,
it's booking is it's the hardest part of the industry. We do some things besides booking. We have, I don't want to say we're a full on record label, but we have, we do some production and finance some production of different artists for their records, and we do their promotion and provide tour support, marketing, um, and booking is definitely it's the hardest part of the whole business, I think.
hmm yeah, yeah, I could see that. I've never really thought of it from that angle, but I do. When you said you were tour support, I could see where it would be very beneficial for a booking agent to have some tour support at some things for more for the benefit of everybody, but sometimes making things happen. That's my word for it.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, no, we like I said,
Sometimes you got to go above and
yeah, it
beyond, so
might
to speak, to make things happen.
yeah, no, you got to we work with a lot of major festivals. We're working on I don't know if I can say the name, but we're working on a really large festival that holds a couple in Northeast Oklahoma. I'll let y'all take it from there.
hmm
But being able to provide the festival with some services in exchange for getting your artist in, that's something we found very successful.
Yeah, well, right away, I'm like, I pretty much think I know who you're talking about. So
Yeah, I think
that's
you
a
got
pretty
it.
big deal. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal for you. Now, and this will be your first year dealing with that?
Yes, that's my first year. We've done work in the past with the Big Ass Texas Festival last year that had Dwight Yoakam and Thomas Rhett, and we've done a lot of work in the independent world with it's like Highway 30 and Highway 30 Texas. That have had bands like the Red Clay Strays and Treaty Oak, and So they're and we've had some success with that. So the festivals, that's where we're trying to get uh better, is getting into the larger festivals and getting our artists opportunities that some others, so others, we're a small agency, so to get those opportunities as a small agency is very hard. And we're trying to allow our artists to get on those main stages to where another agency our size can. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and one of the things I want to talk real fast about, because this part intrigues me very much, and I know it's you're the agent. You mentioned Kristen Kelly, right?
yes.
That you're her agent. Now I went to one of her shows locally and I saw her, and she's just there playing acoustic guitar, singing her songs, and I could tell just me, just I knew there was something to her. I was like, okay, this is not just anybody that just comes and plays and sings. This girl has something going on, and I had no idea she had had a record deal or none of this stuff. I never didn't know any of this backstory. So I start to notice there's a few people in the crowd that are like singing like very passionately along with her original tunes. And I've watched original artists come in and they, you know, mostly people don't, they'll have some fans, yeah, but most of the time that nobody knows their original songs. They're kind of first timers. They're learning the songs for the first time because they're basically an unknown artist. Well, I'm like, how is this that this girl has diehard fans here? These people really love her. They know every lyric to every song she's singing. And so I get to looking it up, and I was like, okay, she had a record deal and an album out, and her single had on Spotify, it had in the millions of plays, like several million. And I was like, okay, well, that's definitely not your average artist. So she takes a break and stuff, and I get to talking to her a little bit, and she told me her story, and that that she was signed, and it was an EP that was released, but then they basically she had reached out to the label and said, hey, can you release that full album, or can I release it, whatever, and they ended up releasing it. So she's a Sony what would be a Sony legacy artist who Sony has recently released that full album, so it's a new album, sort of, but with the four tracks that were out on radio. And I'm thinking like, oh, James is her agent. I was like, that is fantastic. So somebody like that, I mean, that's a good artist that you could very, very well deserves to be on some giant, type things.
No,
And
definitely. Yeah,
so how
Kristen, I want to make clear, I work with Kristen a lot. I'm not officially her agent, so I don't want to get any confusion there. But no, Kristen's a great artist that deserves to be, she deserves to be on any stage that'll let her get on there. I mean, she's
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
She kind of got, not to dive too much into industry stuff, but she kind of got railroaded by Bro Country. Like her single was crushing it, and then all of a sudden Cruise came out, and then the whole industry just kind of just hung a hard left and ran for about 10 years, and just that's kind of my personal opinion. What happened?
Mhm.
Kind of what happened with her, but she's phenomenal. like
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great art, I mean, great song. However, I missed that year or whatever that it came out. I was doing something else, I guess, that year. I missed it when it
yeah,
was on
no,
the
it
radio.
was. I remember when I met her in Nashville, you just never would have. She's so down to earth. She's so friendly, and just she's very. I never met anybody more appreciative of just the smallest things.
Hmm. Yeah,
She's awesome.
she was very personal, very down, and she wasn't. Yeah, just to have somebody like that with that kind of experience and exposure, and even the money that was put behind her. I'm sure at the time when they released that, the studio she worked in and all these things were very at the top level, and she was just very humble about it, which is very cool. And then I know you're working with Casey Johns a lot, and she has just recently won an award and some stuff. What's going on with her?
Yeah, so she won. Well, she was nominated for a Texas Country Music
Yeah.
Association's Songwriter of the Year award. Unfortunately, she didn't win, but she was nominated. But she's had a single came out last year. Rodeo Queen's been, yeah, I think it's getting pretty close to 1 million streams on Spotify. It's TikTok viral. It was
Mhm.
used by Miranda Lambert, the Hawk Tuah girl. Sophie Cunningham used it in her TikTok the night that she got in the fight with the on the basketball court, protecting Caden Clark. So no, she's had a crazy busy tour schedule. Got a new single out called "Kind of Vibe," which is great if you like. Uh, she's kind of winning a Joan Jett. We call it Joan Jett country. That's kind of what we've kind
Hmm.
of made her subgenre. If you like a little bit of country and a little bit of rock and roll mixed with some blues, I think you'll really appreciate Casey John.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I saw her. I haven't seen her with the full band, but I saw her just with the guitar player, just the two of them. And I mean, it was off the hook. It was just
Yeah,
really cool.
her guitar player is all right.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's
no,
something. Yeah.
yeah, no, he is something else. He actually is he's the first person I met when my daughter and I went to Nashville. I've known Tim for since November of 2014. We went there on Thanksgiving on our way to Florida. We stopped in there on Broadway, and he let my daughter get up and sing a song with him, and he's been my best friend ever since. So
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Yeah.
he's a great
And
dude.
and he does he do some songs too on his own occasionally? He's got some releases.
Yeah, he will occasionally do. He'll sing at Casey's shows. Some he does a little bit of light touring on his own. But like I said, Casey's kept him pretty busy. They play about 200 to 225 shows a year, so not much time to moonlight.
No, no. That's what, and that as an artist, that's what you got to do. If you get somebody that's a talented musician, you really do. You just got to work them, keep them
You got
working.
to keep him
Otherwise,
busy. If you
someone
don't
else
work
will
him,
call
somebody else
them.
will.
Yeah, yeah. They will want them. And then if they have a night off, it's unreal. Like somebody like that, they'll have 5, 6 calls, maybe 10 even possibilities that they could go
Well,
do other places.
yeah, no, they and Tim's that way. He actually had last weekend off for the 4th of July weekend, and I called him up. And I said, "Hey, I got my party at my house. You want to come over and play guitar for Ashland?" He goes, "Absolutely." So he was just at my house last weekend. So
Nice,
on
cool,
his
cool.
time off.
Yeah. Yeah, well, musicians that's what they want to be doing. They don't really want time off, I think.
No, no, they get in
Maybe
trouble. They get that.
time off from a formal, yeah, the formal thing, but yeah, they get you're not working, you're not eating, I guess,
Yeah.
right? So all right, so let's say I guess the big question is, and I know I've sent you a few. I'm that guy. I'm probably a little bit annoying. I'm sorry about that.
No, no,
but if
never.
somebody wanted to get, because every musician, that's like the holy grail. Every musician, like they come to me, like new people getting into it, and they're like, "How do I get an agent, Doug?" And I'm like, "Well, you sort of got to earn it. Go out and get a lot of gigs and show that you can make an agent some money, and then they'll work with you." But I
Yeah,
said, if you,
it's super weird. It's by the to get and because you know we're an agency, but like I work with, like I'm essentially the head of Casey's record label, and
Mhm.
there are agencies out there that we would like to get her to sign with because they can just provide so much more than we can.
yeah,
And but it's like to get an agent, you almost have to prove you don't need one at whatever level you're trying to get to. If you're trying to go from not having one to getting a small agent like us, it's like, well, are you playing 100 shows a year now? And like, no, well, you need to go work on that yourself until you get, and we'll get you from 100 to 200, or we'll
mhm,
get you from, you know, 100 gigs that pay a little to maybe getting you some bigger stages or more money. Like you,
yeah,
it's the same way with Casey. It's like we're trying to get now onto a bigger agency, and they're like, well, we're playing 200 shows a year. Well, are you doing X number of dollars at your shows? How many hard tickets can you move? That what do your social numbers look like? Like you've got to put a lot of work in to get an agency at whatever level you're trying to get to. So
yeah. They want, and yeah, because if they're bigger, they need a little bit. They need people that are gonna drive
that
those numbers.
that's
So
right. If you were, if an artist wants to call on us, and they're more than welcome to, we're at James at dirttrailentertainment.com. But you need to probably be doing 100 shows a year already, and rather and that's not 75 shows in your hometown. I mean, you need to. Can you do 100 shows within 150-mile radius of your hometown? Do you have draw in Kansas City? Do you have any Do you have any ability in Tulsa or St. Louis or, and are you willing to work? A lot of artists, they think they want, but it's like, hey, you've got to go get in your car and you're going to go from here to Minnesota to North Dakota to Wyoming, and you're going to come back home in 2.5 weeks. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, then then you can
Mm-hmm.
probably do what you want to do on your own.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody's built for the road or built for,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of hobbyists out there. There's a lot of people that just enjoy a couple times, they want to play once a month or once a week, but if you really, really are looking for an agent, you got to get out and go to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I described it mostly as if it's like how many times do you go to your job in a week if you have a day job? Well, think about that. Now you're a full-time musician, so think about it the same way. How many times are you going to play a show a week?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you kind of what you're thinking.
And, and there's way more to it than the 90 minutes or the 3 hours or, the show. I mean, sure, it's playing shows on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's social media 7 days a week.
Hmm.
It's doing a songwriting round. It's writing songs on Monday and Tuesday, and it's filming video content. And no artist wants to hear this, but social media content, content, content. That's a 3 to 4 hour a day job, probably, if you do it
Hmm.
right.
Oh yeah.
And that's where you lose a lot of artists when you
Hmm.
mention that they're like, I just want to write and sing songs. And, well, that's cool, and that's okay, but if you want to get to the next level, you got to get out and go to work.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because your day is like you said, you're on stage actually entertaining 90 minutes, but before you get on stage, you're setting up your sound checking. Before that, you're traveling.
Right.
You might be preparing your wardrobe. You getting your wardrobe. You might be dropping that off to dry cleaner, like you said. You're posting social medias in between that. If you're not driving, if you're lucky enough to have a van, that a driver or a bus, you might literally be focusing on some R&R or like some maybe doing some warm-ups or some breathing techniques while you're kind of relaxing a little bit, but also working on your thing. There's so many, or learning the new, the bridge to that song we got to debut tonight. I got to work that bridge out. You might be working on that, or you might be working on the harmony part in the back of the bus. Like it never
Right.
stops. Your day off is usually traveling. So yeah, you might have the day off, but you're still in motion
Yeah,
for
there's
somewhere.
it's I mean, it is a business, and you've got to treat it like it's a business. And if and I own other companies outside of this, and if you own a business, it's 70, 80 hours a week. That's just what it is. And the music business is no different. If you want to be a professional musician, it's 50, 60, 70 hours a week, every single week, if you want to be successful.
Yeah, yeah, and I think my thing too about like uh really like you're in a band or you're an artist, you're under a deal and you have to be there. Like it's the 4th of July. You can't just be sick and say, "Oh, I just don't feel like it today," and cancel your 4th of July gig. I mean, that's to be a real,
Yeah,
reason if there was something, but also you can't really cancel because, you just can't, I mean, like sure if there was something, awful that happened and it, yeah, but your band you're still responsible for, and like a guy like you're gonna fill something in, or you're gonna, like, the band's gonna play, the bass player might have broke his arm, but you're gonna hire a local guy to come
yeah,
be the bass player that night.
yeah. Somebody, the show must go on, right?
Yeah, it's gonna go on. So the musician, when they, or for instance, like the guy that, like, okay, well, like, you'd have to be like, if you're a little under the weather, a lot of times you can't really you sing as well. Well, you're just gonna change the key to the song so you can
That's
get
right.
through tonight, and you'll apologize a little bit to the audience, but yeah, you're still gonna put on a show. You're gonna maybe have a few more guitar solos, a little less singing maybe, but you're still gonna put on a rocking show. It's gonna happen because
That's
it
right.
has to. It's like you can't cancel the 4th of July. You just That's how it is, right? But I think a lot of people onlooking that have never done anything like that, they look at it like, like, oh well, do I have, a regular job? You have sick days, you can call in sick, and there's downtime, and it's just not like that when you're a performer.
No, it's you you got to show up even if you don't want to. Just it's a business, and no, and a lot of artists don't want to look at it that way because it's passion and it's art and it's something they love to do, you know. But at the end of the day, it's the music business. That's what they call it that for a reason.
Mhm.
Um, and if you're an artist and you can realize that, then you're gonna find success a lot easier. I don't. My favorite rock and roll band, American Aquarium, the frontman BJ Barnum, he said my life got a lot easier when I realized I was a T-shirt salesman that sang. He said once I understood that, then my life got a lot easier.
Mhm.
And or sometimes they're beer salesmen. That's their job, to show up, entertain, sell the bar as much beer as the bar can, and get and entertain the people and go on. Because if you sell a lot of beer, you know what that bar is going to do? They're going to call
Mhm.
you back because you sold
Yeah.
beer. You know, and hopefully you can sell a few of your T-shirts and your hats while you're there, and go on to the next town and do it all over again.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You're there to you're there to enhance their business. It really is. You're the entertainment that enhances that. And if you can do a good job with your enhancement and help that out, yeah, your first band's first endorsement's always going to be a beer company.
A beer, yeah,
Yeah, they're going to start with, hey, we'll make all your signs for you. We'll make all your flyers for you. Next thing they'll do something special like we're going to offer we're going to bring in a a marketing person on the night you guys are playing, and that's really cool when they do stuff like that because then they give your band extra advertising and stuff. And this is all stuff that's, yeah, the bands sometimes they don't think about that, but they think about the
yeah.
signs that those things they made you. They made you $1,000 worth of signs. That's a hell of an endorsement
That's
right
that's a
there.
hell of a deal. That's right.
Yeah, and so that's great that those companies will do that. Will come up and I tell people all the time. I'm like, yep. I said my best friends are, they're beer companies because they're the ones that they're always there and they'll give that endorsement way before anybody else would.
Yeah, actually, Casey has her own whiskey. Casey, it's called Thunder Whiskey. You can go to CaliDistillery.com and order. They'll ship it right to your house. She
Oh, cool.
promoted herself well enough that the whiskey company gave her her own brand.
Nice.
It's phenomenal. So
I did hear something about that. Doesn't she have a song that kind of goes along with that?
yeah, she has a song called Whiskey Break.
Yeah.
Uh, she said that she worked the band too hard, so they always said they needed a whiskey break instead of smoke break because none of them smoked. So they wrote a song, Whiskey Break, and
Nice, nice.
that's what led to
Yeah.
that branding deal with the whiskey company.
Yeah.
So
I guess I just thought that kind of came at the same time, but the song came first, huh?
the song came
Okay.
first. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So I guess I don't want to hold you too long. I know you got a lot to do. Won't you give us your artist roster maybe, or the ones that you're gonna kind of push? And then if we talked before I started talking on the interview, if there's like because you deal with lots of sizes of venues, so I know you're doing bigger stuff, but um, if there's a venue or a festival or whatever, somebody a lot of times they are putting on some event and they don't always know like what to do, how to get involved. Could they, call you up for maybe like a consultation and then maybe you could help them get an artist and get them
Yeah,
going?
definitely. I'm always. I didn't really start this. This isn't so much about. I mean, not about making money. It's about helping artists and helping kind of local artists be able to have a national, approach, or a national audience, and getting local artists to go leave the. Not that there's anything wrong with our area, but getting them to be able to go play Wisconsin or go play Minnesota or go into Oklahoma and teach them to broaden their horizons a little bit. So I'm always an open book. I'll help anybody. I'll tell you a couple things. If you're trying to approach larger venues and festivals, have a great EPK. Have a simple EPK where you can send one sheet to the venue and it's got links to all of your Spotify, your YouTube, your social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, where they can just look at that and click. Don't send them 17 links. They will not do it. They won't, they'll just they will dispose of your email and never even open it. Make it as simple as possible for the talent buyer to get to know you with a short bio, links to your music, links to live videos of you performing. Put good quality videos on there, and they can be shot with your iPhone or whatever. They don't have to be professional, but have good videos that show the crowd having fun, so they can get to know you and see that their people are going to have the see that's one, you're going to bring your own people with you for your fans, and two, see that people that are already there are just going to have a great time,
Hmm.
and make it easy for them to access who you are and get to know you without a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's the one thing. If I could tell you how to get agencies and venues to look at you, is to make it as easy as possible for them to find you and to research you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and on the other side of the coin, I guess what I was thinking about is if it was somebody that was going to be the talent buyer, but they were a first time with the festival or with their venue, they've just opened a whatever, they've opened up a pizzeria with a stage and they want to have music, but they know nothing about it, and they're going to contact you about that. How would they go about doing
Yeah,
that?
they are welcome to email me at james@dirttrailentertainment.com, and I will help them, look for things, and I'll help provide them artists. I'll help tell them how to find. There's other agencies in town that provide great talent, and there's a couple agencies in town that provide terrible talent. And off the record, I'm the kind of guy that will probably tell you who they are, but just to, there's just, um, you if you're asking for some advice from them, just get artists that are family friendly for the pizzeria. Get artists that conduct themselves in a professional manner. Um, and if they're cover artists, make sure they play songs that everybody knows and can sing along to. And if it's original artists, make sure that they can move tickets or have a following of people that will come in and enjoy their venue.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great advice. Now, do you handle venues exclusively, or is every deal you got non-exclusive?
I don't handle any venues exclusively. That's a whole nother animal, because you don't have to just book your own talent. You've got to kind of regulate talent from all over, and you
Hmm.
really need access to 40 or 50 different artists, and I just don't I don't have that kind of energy, if we're honest.
Hmm.
So
Sure.
um I really, like I said, mainly artists that I promote myself. Um, I work with Ashlyn Gray, Casey Johns. I work a lot with Ty Smith. I'm not his official agent, but I do work a lot with him. I work a lot with Anna LaPrade. I work a I work some with Kristen Kelly. Um, and those are just all good, high quality artists. I don't work with Dallas Stump anymore officially. I was to make but he's still one of my best friends, and I probably still book him 50 shows a year just out of the kindness of my heart, and just to help him out, because everybody should hear Dallas Stump. He's one of my he's definitely one of my favorite local voices.
Hmm.
He's just he kind of went a different direction in a little bit of what he was doing, but he's great and phenomenal. Um, those are artists I would recommend. If you have a venue, call every single one that I just told you, and I don't even get paid from half of them. So that's just music. That's just music I like to hear, and I think everybody else should hear it too. And um, but yeah, no, that's where I'm at as far as who I work with. So
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So I think I've ran through all of my inquiries, but uh, I always leave the interview at the end. I like to say, there's probably something I missed. What is there? You're here, people are viewing it. Like I said, music people, maybe buyers, maybe all kinds. Like what else do you have that you would like to share before we get off here today?
yeah, I think we covered it. I think the one thing that I would stress for us over at Dirt Trail, we are a lot more. We started out as a booking agency, and I quickly learned that was the worst part to be in. So we expanded into, we do a lot of record label stuff. If somebody's looking, we do labels. We could do label services where we, would help you get in front of people. We handle management for uh, like we are Casey John's manager. We're her label. We're right now we facilitate her publicity through another company. We facilitate her all her marketing through another company. Uh, we're basically her management team, and we're full 100% behind her. Um, so we do that. So if you're looking for Casey Johns anything, hit me up. If you want Ashland Gray locally, hit me up. If you like Ty Smith, hit me up. Even if you like Dallas, hit me up. Even though we don't work together. But
That's fun. That's fun. All right, give us your website and stuff one more time, and then we'll get off
go
here.
to dirtrailentertainment.com. And we're on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me personally, James at dirtrailentertainment.com. And if you're a venue looking for acts, if you're an act looking for any kind of support or help, even if it's some just free information I can give you, I'm an open book. So
All right, man. Hey, I really appreciate you being on today. And I'm gonna end the interview, and we'll talk. We'll
thanks
talk
a
for
lot.
just a second.
I've been working all day. I think I want to go play some golf. So that's where I'm headed now. So,
I love it. I love it.
all
Talk to
right.
you
Thanks a
soon,
lot,
man.
Doug. It was great. I appreciate it.
Yeah.